Welcome everyone, welcome the participants of this debate session for the day 3 of the group phase match of the Hague Inter-University Law Debate Tournament 2023. My name is Anna Maria Urbanova. I will be your host for the match on behalf of Quarks Foundation, organizer of the competition. We are glad to welcome the debate teams of University of South Pacific, joining us from Vanuatu. Good evening. And the members of the debate team of Universite Francaise in Armenie, joining us from Yerevan. Welcome. The debate session is focused on the debate statement that was released to teams at the same time. They prepared 4 sides in favor and against. They will know which side they are assigned shortly. But just as a reminder to the audience and to the members, the debate statement for today's session is legislative protection of traditional knowledge and minority languages is an effective way of protecting cultural heritage. That would be it from my side. I would be glad to give the word to the members to introduce themselves. Starting with University of South Pacific, Ms. Sionatema.
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello everyone, my name is Harriet Sonatama. I am a final year law student here at MLS campus, the University of the South Pacific. Thank you.
Thank you very much. From Universite Francaise in Armenie, Ms. Makachian.
Hi everyone, I'm Svetlana. I'm representing Universite Francaise in Armenie, French University in Armenia, and I'm glad to participate in the third match. Good luck to all teams.
Thank you and welcome. From University of South Pacific, Ms. Amani.
Hello everyone, I'm Natasha Amani. I'm a third year law student here at the University of South Pacific. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. From Université Française in Armenie, Ms. Gazaygan.
Hi everyone, my name is Tatavik Kazaran. I'm a fourth year law student in French University in Armenia, and I'd like to wish everyone good luck in this debate. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome. From University of South Pacific, Ms. Laboukli.
Hello everyone, my name is Brigitte Laboukli, and I'm a final year law student at the University of the South Pacific, and I'm very happy to be joining all of you for this third debate. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome. And from University of Francaise and Armenie, Ms. Melkoumian.
Hello everyone, I'm Louisa Melkoumian from French University in Armenia. I'm very glad to be here today and I wish good luck to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you and welcome. We also have judges, coaches present for the 2 participating teams. Just an information point for University of South Pacific, the 2 judges are Professor Sofia Shah and Professor Morrison Moses. I don't know if they're currently present with your team in the room. If they
Hello
are,
everyone. Hi, this is Sophia.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. From University of Francaise in Armenie, we also have 2 coaches for the team. Ms. Parandzem Mikaelian, I believe, is present in the room.
Yes, thank you very much. I work for the Office of the Representative of the Republic of Armenia, and I'm one of the coaches for the French University of Armenia, and I wish good luck to all the participating teams.
Thank you and welcome. The second coach for the debate team of Université Française in Armenie, Ms. Arpine Arakelian, is also present in the session today.
Hello everyone. I am assistant lecturer at the French University in Armenia. I wish good luck to all the participants of this debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Once again, welcome to the session. I will shortly share my screen where we will discover then the allocation of positions for the teams. Just a short reminder for everyone, yellow card, 30 seconds left. Red card, your time is up, but you can still conclude your sentences comfortably. Please let me know when you can see the wheel.
We confirm we can see the wheel.
Thank you very much. So just one click away and we will know the debate positions for the teams. All right. So in this case, we are confirming that for today's session and the day 3 round of the group phase of the competition, the team in favor of the statement legislative protection of traditional knowledge and minority languages is an effective way of protecting cultural heritage is the University of South Pacific. For that account, the Universite Francaise in Armenie will be defending against position, and that is the legislative protection of traditional knowledge and minority languages is not an effective way of protecting cultural heritage. You will now have 5 minutes to finalize your preparations, and then the team from the University of South Pacific will start with their opening statements for 4 minutes. You can close your cameras and comfortably prepare. Thank you very much for the participants. Your time for preparation is now concluded. We will now start the session. University of South Pacific, you have 4 minutes to start your opening statement.
Thank you. Esteemed colleagues and panel, in affirmation of the prompt, our team will argue that legislation protection is effective as it is the binding authority of the state and because it provides appropriate protection to all forms of intellectual property, which includes traditional knowledge. Now, to give context, the many international and regional instruments, including United Nations, Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, and International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, recognize the right to contribute to culture and right to enjoy and benefit from culture respectfully. These rights also implies a host of other rights, such as the right to freedom of expression, association, and thought, the right to education, the right to be included in cultural activities, and to have the means and resources to access, participate, and contribute. Cultural right is a human rights imperative, and human rights are protected by legislation. Legislation has numerous roles: to direct, enforce, endorse, to protect, and to claim. It is sovereign. It is enacted by a legitimate lawmaking body setting legitimate principles. The welfare of the citizen is paramount, therefore adopted in the best interest of the people. In other words, without legal protection, heritage will be lost. We will also argue that legislation provides appropriate protection to all forms of intellectual property, including traditional knowledge. Traditional knowledge is not only defined in its literal sense, it also includes traditional cultural expression and traditional genetic resources. Legislation creates a facilitating environment for traditional knowledge to be used for commercial advantage in the public domain, both for private and public benefit, and will encourage a wide variety of players to engage with intellectual property. This is done by incorporating cultural rights into existing legislation such as Copyright Act, Patents Act, or Trademark Act, or they can be legislation unique to the context of the state. So in conclusion, we would like to reiterate that without legislation, our culture will wither away. Legislation is an effective tool for the preservation, promotion, and protection of traditional knowledge, inclusive of intangible and tangible cultural heritage. And as the cultural resources become exploited, threatened, and extinct, it is essential that we have legal mechanisms in place to safeguard for future generations and state economies. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Universite Francaise in Armenie, you have 4 minutes for your opening statement.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. I'll start. Good day, ladies. Today's discussion revolves around legislative protection of traditional knowledge and minority languages as a means to safeguard cultural heritage. And while the opposing team argued that legislative protection is an effective way of preserving cultural legacy, I firmly believe that it alone is not enough or effective to achieve this goal. Instead, I advocate for a more holistic approach that addresses the underlying causes of cultural erosion and the factors that threaten the survival of cultural traditions. Firstly, defining and recognizing cultural knowledge can be challenging and it makes it difficult to determine the ownership and sense of intellectual property law and provide effective legislative safeguards. It is due to the fact that traditional knowledge is often passed through generations and held collectively rather than individually. A case study point is Hoodia cactus plant, which has been used for centuries by some people of Southern Africa as a natural appetite suppressant. However, a company patented the extract from the plant to use in diet pills without some people's permission and acknowledgement, of course. And although some people sought legal protection, it was complicated and it was difficult to define and identify traditional knowledge. Secondly, legislative protection may have limited scope and it may only cover certain aspects of traditional knowledge, such as patents, trademark, or copyright, as mentioned the opposing team. And while other forms of traditional knowledge, such as cultural expressions, folklore, and traditional artistic creation, may not be patented. To illustrate, in the US, while the Indian Arts and Crafts Act provides some protection of Native American arts and crafts, it only covers certain types of good and does not extend to all aspects of traditional knowledge and cultural expression. Thirdly, to be effective, legislative protection should be complemented by traditional measures, such as education, awareness raising, etc. While legislative protection may provide legal mechanism to safeguard traditional knowledge in minority languages, it does not necessarily address the root causes of cultural erosion. For instance, the decline of minority languages is often influenced by socio-economic factors such as urbanization, migration, globalization, etc. And lastly, laws protecting traditional knowledge and minority languages are difficult to enforce due to lack of resources, political will, or cultural resistance. For example, laws protecting traditional knowledge may be difficult to enforce against powerful corporations. Additionally, such a protection may involve multiple legal frameworks, such as intellectual property, human rights, and it creates challenges as to which should be enforced in specific cases, which legal scope. Finally, traditional knowledge and the scope of minority languages subject to protection may be difficult to define in legal terms, leading to enforcement difficulties. To summarize, the protection of cultural heritage is a crucial issue that demands immediate attention. Legislative protection falls short in ensuring the survival of cultural heritage. And to genuinely safeguard and sustain cultural heritage, a more comprehensive approach is necessary. After all, a nation's cultural legacy is not just a matter of past, it is a crucial aspect to our present and future, and it deserves a protection and respect. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your submissions. We are now entering the rebuttals. For the round of first rebuttal, University of South Pacific, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, colleague team, on your arguments that we've put forward. While you argue for a comprehensive approach and a holistic approach, I would like to argue for a lack of resources that exist within many of the developing countries that contain many minority languages and many traditional cultures. For example, in the Pacific, only in the last decade have we seen a move towards national legislation. And this is only through the support of international organizations such as the World Intellectual Property Organization, as well as through promotional activities by the United Nations Education and Scientific Cultural Organization. And through these organizations, we in the Pacific were able to have regional legislation, and which has also led to sui generis legislation by each national state. So at the moment, as we speak, 7 countries in the Pacific have drafted national legislation that helps to protect their traditional knowledge. As an example, in the New Caledonia, there had been exploitation of sacred traditional information for cosmetic purposes by an international company. And it is only with national legislation that the indigenous people were able to get benefit from this exploitation. We also argue for patenting the kava plant. The kava plant is found in the South Pacific and has been used by US for cosmetic purposes as well. And only through these legislations can we ensure that we have economic benefits from our traditional knowledge. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Université Française in Armenie, you have 2 minutes for your first rebuttal.
Yes. We understand the concerns of the opposing team, but we do not share this approach, mostly because the effective protection of cultural heritage often requires international cooperation and coordination, and solely relying on legislation, national legislation, may not be adequately effective to address the issue on a global scale. For instance, one of the arguments can be seen in situation of cultural heritage while we talk about repatriation. Numerous cultural heritage objects are taken away from nations due to a war, conflicts, and colonization, for instance, and now are retained in museums in different countries. Legislation alone may not suffice in guaranteeing their return, as enforcing these laws in the countries can be challenging. Instead, addressing the issue requires collaboration between all nations and communities to actually solve the problem. And the same applies when talking about minority languages. For example, the protection of endangered languages spoken by indigenous communities requires cooperation among diverse parties, including the communities themselves. And legislation may not suffice to address the complex issues faced by these communities, and international cooperation, on the other hand, and collaboration are crucial to guarantee the preservation of these languages. Thank you.
Thank you very much. University of South Pacific, you have 2 minutes for your second rebuttal.
Thank you very much for the point that you have put forward on repatriation as well. And I strongly agree that it is only through international assistance can we get repatriation for the cultural heritages that have been taken away from countries in the early 1900s. But we would also like to argue on the point of linguistic, that in many countries, minority languages, for example, in PNG, there's 800 different local dialects that are spoken by indigenous people. And these languages are threatened every day. And it is only through assistance of international organizations and through mechanisms such as national legislations can these languages be protected, because we feel strongly that there needs to be a respect for language rights as human rights as well. There needs to be recognition and promotion of tolerance, cultural and linguistic diversity, and mutual respect as well. There needs to be in place legislation and policies that address linguistic human rights and prescribe clear frameworks for standards and conducts. And there also needs to be in place effective compliance mechanisms before judicial and administrative executive bodies. Therefore, we here strongly believe that national legislation can be a tool to address gaps with linguistics and minority languages as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. For the University Francaise in Armenie, you have 2 minutes for your second rebuttal.
Okay, thank you very much. In response to the arguments raised by the opposing team, we strongly believe that, firstly, there's a difficulty in balancing competing interests. Legislative protection of traditional knowledge may involve balancing competing interests, such as the interest of indigenous communities and the interest of commercial entities. There may be legal challenges in protecting traditional knowledge when it conflicts with existing intellectual property laws. For example, traditional remedies or plants may be patented or copyrighted by companies, which can make it difficult to protect the traditional knowledge without infringing on the intellectual property the rights of others. On the other hand, other measures such as negotiations, agreements, and community-led initiatives may be more effective in finding a balance between competing interests. Secondly, legal protection may not adequately protect cultural heritage. While legislative protection can be an important tool in protecting cultural heritage, it may not be sufficient on its own, as you agreed already. For example, laws protecting traditional knowledge may not address the underlying issues of poverty and social inequality that can lead to the erosion of traditional knowledge. Similarly, laws protecting minority languages may not be enough to address discrimination and prejudice against the speakers of those languages. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your submissions. Entering now the stage of conclusions, University of South Pacific, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you for your argument. On your argument about sufficiency of legislation, as mentioned before in our introduction in our first and second arguments, legislations create the standards necessary to define, assess, and categorize what is significant and what is worthy of protection. It also develops efficient mechanisms to ensure rules to keep cultural heritage and people accessing that heritage safe. Cultural heritage is more than just legacy. It is who we are and what shapes our identity. Now, as Pacific Islanders, on our side of the University of the South Pacific, our culture is a way of life. With the food we eat and the songs we sing and the dances we dance, there is always a sense of connectedness to our ancestors and to our history. But as an unwritten culture that is passed orally through many aspects of our way of life are being forgotten. If we want to make sure heritage is available for future research, education, and public interpretation, having culture at the core of legislation and development policies is the most effective way to guarantee an inclusive and equitable environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Universite Francaise in Armenie, you have 2 minutes for your conclusion.
Thank you very much. In regards of the arguments of the opposing team, I would like to bring a short example. The best example of legislative difficulties is the Maasai case, Maasai tribe in Kenya and Tanzania. And when they wanted to protect legislative measure, their cultural heritage, but there were lots of difficulties in enforcement, and the enforcement was practically useless. So I would like to conclude that cultural heritage is an integral part of our identity, and its preservation is essential for the well-being of society. While legal protection may seem like an effective solution, our team strongly believes that a more holistic approach is necessary to address the underlying causes of cultural erosion. Traditional knowledge is often difficult to define and recognize, making it challenging to determine ownership and provide effective legislative safeguards. Moreover, legal protection may not cover all aspects of traditional knowledge and cultural expressions. As such, it is essential to complement legislative protection with education and public awareness campaign to ensure its effectiveness. Enforcing laws protecting traditional knowledge and minority languages can also be difficult due to a lack of resources, political will, or cultural resistance. Therefore, a more comprehensive approach is necessary to genuinely safeguard and sustain cultural heritage. It is essential to recognize that any nation's cultural legacy is a vital aspect of our identity, history, and future that we must work to protect and honor. Thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you very much for your submission. Thank you to the both teams. This marks the end of today's session for your Day 3 debate. of the group phase. As such, allow me on the behalf of organization congratulate both teams for your research and for execution of your research in your argumentation. You are now no longer graded by the judges, so you can relax a bit. We'll do a short round of feedback, a bit shortened because we have a second match that we need to open the room for the teams shortly. But again, well done on the debate. So perhaps starting with Ms. Khazarian, how did you find the preparation for the match? How did you find the match itself?
Well, as always, it was quite interesting, both the theme and the preparation itself, as we did a lot of research and kind of understood what the situation in Armenia is too. It was interesting, and well, our debate itself was also challenging and interesting. So I hope there will be more, and it was a pleasure to play. Thank you.
Thank you. From University of South Pacific, Ms. Sionatema, how did you find the preparation, the match?
Thank you. Hello, everyone again. Thank you for the lovely debate. Apologies for our camera. We are very saddened that it's not working. But that aside, we thoroughly enjoyed the research. The topic is very important to us as Pacific Islanders, where our culture, our language, traditional knowledge is priority in our life. So for that, thank you again for the great discussion and debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Melkomian, how did you find the preparation and the debate?
Okay, it was very interesting and quite challenging for our team. It was a great pleasure for us to play with this team, and we really enjoyed the whole process. I hope there are many more to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ms. Labukli of University of South Pacific, how was your experience?
Thank you very much for the very interesting debate. I thoroughly enjoyed having this debate with the University of Armenia. And I think you've also introduced cases to us that we could look into and think around traditional knowledges in Europe as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ms. Makachian, how did you find the experience for today's match?
Thank you. So, as my colleagues already mentioned, the whole process of preparation and research and the whole process was quite interesting and challenging for us as Armenians also, because we are concerned with this question, because our language is very high priority to us, and our culture and cultural heritage that is not always safe and safeguarded. We are also concerned on this matter, and the research was much more interesting in this regard. So thank you very much for the subject, for the topic, and thank you all the teams for interesting debate. That's it.
Thank you. On the side of organizers, we are glad you enjoyed the topic. Hopefully you'll get many more for both teams to experience. Ms. Amani, how was your experience for today's session?
Thank you. As my colleagues have mentioned, this topic hit close to home because we are very culturally diverse and our culture is slowly slipping away. But to sit down and prepare, the preparation for this debate was very interesting and very eye-opening for us. And yeah, thank you to the opposing team and our friends. Thank you so much for the insightful arguments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. From the side of the coaches present in the session, Professor Arakalian, how did you find the experience?
Thank you very much. The topic itself was very interesting, and the whole process of the preparation research was very interesting for me as a coach as well. I really enjoyed the process, and I'm looking forward to the next sessions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Professor Shah, how was the experience on your side?
The experience was very, very good. My students had been working really hard, and I'm really disappointed that the camera gave up on us at the last minute. Also, we had an accident this morning. Harriet has her arm in a sling, so she has sprained her wrist and her elbow, but yet she made it here and participated, so that's big. I mean, it's congratulations to the students. They did really well. Both teams did really well. Thanks.
Well, thank you very much for joining nevertheless, and I hope you have swift recovery. Miss Paranza Mikelian, apologies. How was the experience on your side for preparation and execution of match?
Thank you very much. I also enjoyed the preparation and the match also. So congratulations on the successful match to both teams. Well done. It was great to observe. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And perhaps one final question to give to both teams at the same time would be, did you have a chance to either visit the country of the opposing team or perhaps meet someone from their country? And perhaps starting with the University of South Pacific, did you have a chance to visit Armenia or perhaps meet someone?
So here we're sitting in the room, we're from 3 different countries altogether, and none of us have actually had the opportunity to meet someone from Armenia, and I don't think we've had the opportunity to visit each of our countries as well, so let alone Armenia. So we haven't had that pleasure yet. Thank you.
All right, I hope you have an opportunity to travel both to each other's countries, but also perhaps to meet the opposing team in the future. For the team from Armenia, did you have a chance to visit either Vanuatu or any other countries in the area of South Pacific? Or perhaps meet some students from there?
Unfortunately, not. But as an example, I can say that during my Erasmus exchange program in Germany, I met lots of students, including also from Pacific area, and it was a great pleasure to communicate with them. So we hope that one day we can also have the chance to visit the country.
All right. Okay, on that account, once more on the side of organization, congratulations to both teams. Shortly after today's sessions have concluded for the first half of the day, the recording will be made available both to the teams and to the judges. Thank you for understanding. Swift recovery to Vanuatu, and have a good rest of the day and start to the weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.